Our planet is rich with various artifacts, some of which even the greatest scientists cannot explain. Have you ever considered that the inability to solve these mysteries might be because they have extraterrestrial origins? In this video, I invite you to explore some of the most mysterious discoveries of humanity. Enjoy watching. Howard Menger became known to the world as a person who had contact with extraterrestrial races more than once. Howard was born in New York in 1922. At the age of 10, during a walk in the woods, he encountered a blonde girl who had come to Earth from the planet Venus. In the 1950s, contacts with extraterrestrials resumed and became much more frequent. Howard claimed that extraterrestrial beings were very friendly, and their mission was to save Earthlings from wars and immorality. Along with his wife, he spent a lot of time with extraterrestrials. During this time, they taught Howard their songs, which were meant to teach people friendliness and love, as well as help them evolve. The aliens hoped that thanks to these songs, Earthlings would stop wars and killings, and then they could join the interstellar group. After that, contact between humans and extraterrestrial races would become open. To promote this idea, in 1957, Howard released an album with music that sounds on other planets. Of course, no one believed the man's stories, but many noted that the compositions from this record really helped to relax and relieve stress. In 2020, a Russian newspaper reported the discovery of a strange artifact resembling a wheel in a mine in Donetsk. It is noteworthy that the first wheel appeared 55 centuries ago in Mesopotamia. Therefore, when scientists learned that this artifact was 300 million years old, they were astounded. Could it be that several hundred million years ago, there were advanced civilizations on our Earth that we never knew about? When news of this discovery spread around the world, a mine worker confessed that the wheel had been discovered in 2008, and later another identical fossil was found. However, the mine owner, upon learning of this, forbade any further research and disclosure of information. Hence, the information remained classified for a long time. Today, the mine no longer operates. Previously, it specialized in the extraction of coking coal, but argillites and sandstones were also present in its depths. The area where the mine was located is rich in ancient fossils. Even school children managed to find dinosaur egg fossils there. Therefore, it is not surprising that the found artifact is estimated to be about 300 million years old, but determining the exact purpose of the wheel and who could have manufactured it seems impossible. In 2018, a video of an unusual finding made by researchers using Google Earth appeared on a YouTube channel. The footage showed a very long and straight trail leading to an enormous object. Users speculated that the satellite image depicted an alien spacecraft that had crashed. In addition to the skid marks and the object itself, the photographs also showed a mountain with signs of a crash. Apparently, the alien ship came to a halt after colliding with this mountain. Skeptics refuted the hypothesis of an alien ship crash, claiming that the images captured the aftermath of an avalanche. But admittedly, it doesn't quite resemble an avalanche. Among other theories, it was also suggested that the unidentified object could be the lost Malaysian Boeing flight MH370 from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. This plane disappeared in March 2014. Experts believe that for an unknown reason, the pilots of the Boeing decided to change course and head towards Antarctica. Thus, the strange object could indeed be the missing plane. At midnight on September 19, 1976, the Iranian Air Force Command Post received several reports from residents of the Shamiran district about unusual activity in the night sky. The duty officers immediately reported the situation to the Air Force commander of the district, General Yousefi. After personally observing the unusual lights, he decided to send a fighter jet to reconnoiter. At 1:30 a.m., a jet piloted by Captain Mohammad Reza Azizkhani took off to meet the glowing celestial object. As the fighter approached it, all its equipment and communication systems instantly shut down. This unexpected situation forced the pilot to turn around and return to base. As soon as Muhammad moved away from the mysterious object, all systems returned to normal. Yousefi, believing the incident was due to a malfunction of the aircraft, ordered a second fighter jet into the sky. This aircraft was piloted by Lieutenant Parvez Jafari. Staying 43 kilometers away from the object, he chose a strategy of pursuit rather than approach. However, due to the incredibly bright light, he could not clearly discern the object. The only thing Jafari noticed was that the object was shaped like a Boeing 747. While the pilot was trying to assess the size of the UFO, another glowing point moved towards him. The lieutenant took it as an attack and attempted to fire a missile, but at that moment, the aircraft's equipment again stopped working. As soon as Jafari turned the aircraft around, the equipment normalized, and he saw a third glowing object heading straight for the rocks on the ground. He expected an explosion, but the object made a soft landing. The next day, an investigation was conducted in the area, but nothing suspicious was found. What happened near Tehran that day remains unknown. In June 2021, during research in the Dead Sea, a group of scientists from Russia, Italy, Germany, and the USA discovered a strange mineral. It was later identified as alabogdanite, a very rare phosphide mineral. Long believed to be found only in meteorites, this discovery challenged that theory. Alabogdanite was first discovered in 1997 in eastern Yakutia, Russia, and named after crystallographer Alla Bogdanova, who studied it. While initially thought to be a fragment of a meteorite that fell into a river, the Dead Sea mineral might have an earthly origin. If true, this discovery would be sensational. Such alabogdanite could form under a pressure of 25 gigapascals or 250,000 atmospheres, typically resulting from meteorite impacts with Earth's surface or in the Earth's mantle at a depth of about 500 kilometers. However, this mineral was found in surface rocks of the Dead Sea Basin, making its presence there a mystery. The origin of this alabogdanite raises many questions. There have been no recorded meteorite falls in this region, and the local rock formations are not connected to the Earth's mantle. Scientists are now hoping to find other samples of terrestrial alabogdanite to focus on studying this mineral and determine under what conditions it forms. In 1996, a whole system of pipes was discovered in the vicinity of Mount Baigong in China. The first part of them descended from the mountain, entering a cave, while the second part was installed at the bottom of the cave and went downwards. It all gave the impression that these pipes served as some ancient mechanism for water extraction. Mount Baigong is located in a relatively uninhabited area. It was previously believed that there were no civilizations in this area. But then why, and most importantly, who installed these pipes? Ufologists speculated that this system was used by aliens for mineral extraction. However, this theory has not been proven. Scientists, in turn, conducted a series of studies on this find. During these, it was discovered that the age of the pipes is about 5,000 years. Isotopic analysis showed that the composition of the pipes includes an iron isotope with a high inclusion of silicon dioxide and calcium oxide. This means there is nothing extraterrestrial in this find. Moreover, the investigation revealed that the Baigong pipes are actually fossilized trees. As the trees transformed, iron-rich water flowed into the soil, forming what is known as an iron shell. Meteorite falls are not uncommon. Scientists estimate that this happens at least 6,000 times a year. Each meteorite found is unique and has its own story. One of the most famous among them was named Allen Hills. Allen Hills, or ALH 84001, is one of the 34 Martian meteorites discovered by scientists. This cosmic object, weighing nearly 2 kilograms, was found in 1984 in Antarctica, in the Allen Hills, after which it was named. Scientists believe that the meteorite broke off from Mars after the planet collided with a large cosmic body 4 billion years ago. It landed on Earth about 13,000 years ago. Allen Hills 84001 generated great scientific interest because among other Martian meteorites, it was the only one that found Mars at a time when there was still liquid water on its surface. In 1996, scientists speculated that this meteorite might contain evidence of life on Mars. Scanning the sample with a scanning electron microscope showed that it contained fossils known as magnetotactic bacteria. Researchers claimed that such fossils are left by living bacteria. However, subsequent studies of the meteorite revealed that the fossils could have formed while it was on Earth. Certainly, this new information disappointed scientists, but they continue to search for evidence of life on Mars. In 2011, researchers using Google Maps noticed bright zigzag lines in the Gobi Desert in northern China. Viewing this image, netizens recalled geoglyphs, some of which are associated with aliens. Following this, ufologists claimed that the patterns were a message meant to be read by other extraterrestrial civilizations. However, this theory was quickly refuted. After active discussion of the discovery, Professor Jonathan Hill from the University of Arizona came forward with an official statement. According to him, these whimsical patterns in the middle of the desert are actually calibration systems for spy satellites. Satellites use such targets for spatial orientation. China is not the only country that uses reconnaissance satellites. The USA was one of the first countries to launch devices for spying on hostile nations from space. Therefore, a similar calibration system is located in Arizona. The man in this photo is named Voyich. Until recently, he was just an ordinary resident of a small village in Bosnia and Herzegovina. But one day he began to notice unusual stones regularly falling from the sky on his property. He reported the occurrence to scientists, and the suspicious rocks were sent for analysis. It turned out they were meteorites. Radivoje was not surprised by this news, as he was convinced that his house was under attack by aliens. In his interviews, he expressed confusion about what he could have done to anger them and why they chose his home. The first meteorite fell on Radivoje's house in 2007. Since then, it has been happening regularly during the rain. What's most astonishing is that none of Radivoje's neighbors noticed any space rocks falling on their properties. This puzzled the scientists, who tried to understand the nature of this phenomenon through various studies, but they were unable to unravel this mystery. Radivoje believes that aliens are playing a strange game with him, the rules of which he cannot understand. However, he also admits that this phenomenon has somewhat helped him financially. People often visit him during the rain to observe the event, and some of them willingly buy the fallen meteorites. In April 1722, Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen discovered a small island named Rapa Nui by its indigenous inhabitants, known today as Easter Island. In his accounts, Jacob expressed his astonishment at the large moai statues. He wondered how the natives could create and move such sculptures across the island. Most moai are over 10 meters tall, and some weigh more than 10 tons. Currently, there are 887 statues on Easter Island, all carved between the 13th and 16th centuries. Most were carved from large block tuff, but there are also a few made of trachyte, red basalt pumice, basalt, and meteorite. According to Rapa Nui legend, the moai are connected to the clan chief Hotumatua, who left his home and discovered Easter Island. He liked the place and decided to stay. After the chief's death, the island was divided among his 6 sons. The Rapa Nui believe that the moai statues hold the great power of their ancestors and are responsible for the island's fertile land. The most popular theory among modern researchers is that the moai were erected by settlers from the Polynesian islands. According to this hypothesis, the statues symbolized deceased ancestors and served as totems for the various clans of the island. Initially, the moai were placed along the coast of the island, but later they were moved across the territory. Who moved them, how, and why remains unknown. The dogu figurines are one of the brightest examples of Japanese Jomon period art, lasting from 13,000 to 300 BCE. These statuettes typically depicted people with peculiar body shapes, reminiscent of astronauts in their spacesuits. Due to this similarity, dogu are often considered direct evidence of alien contact with ancient humans. It is believed that the creators of these figurines were the Ainu people, who inhabited the Japanese islands in ancient times. However, there is also a view that they were made by representatives of the mysterious Jomon civilization. Most astonishingly, NASA staff recognized in the dogu some details corresponding exactly to modern astronaut suits. But the minimum age of these figurines is 2,300 years. So how could these people have known what a space expedition suit looks like? It's doubtful that scientists will ever be able to answer this question. The Antikythera mechanism is a two-sided mechanical device consisting of 30 bronze gears in a rectangular wooden case. This amazing find was discovered in 1900 among the wreckage of an ancient sunken ship and is dated approximately to the 2nd century BCE. The interest in this device is not unfounded. It served as a kind of ancient computational technology. With its help, people could track the position of the sun and moon, determine the days of solar and lunar eclipses, the dates of important Greek games and festivals, and perform some mathematical and astronomical calculations. Research and attempts at reconstruction of the device began almost immediately after its discovery. However, significant results were achieved only by English historian Derek de Solla Price in 1951. Using X-ray examination, he managed to create an accurate reconstruction of the mechanism. However, in 1997, British researcher Michael Wright, who was also fascinated with the mechanism, noted some inaccuracies in Price's reconstruction, particularly that the device could also model the movements of Mercury and Venus. Currently, the Antikythera mechanism is kept in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens. The Voyich manuscript is one of the world's most mysterious manuscripts. It's a handwritten illustrated book of 240 pages, authored by an unknown writer in an unknown encrypted language. The exact date of the manuscript's creation is uncertain. However, according to research by American chemist Greg Hodgins, the parchment on which the book was written dates from between 1404 and 1438. The Voynich manuscript has been called the Holy Grail of cryptography because no one has yet managed to decipher it. The first attempts at decoding the encrypted text began in the 17th century. Since then, many different decryptions have been proposed, but none have been accurate. The greatest experts in cryptography have attempted to unravel the secret text, but all efforts have been unsuccessful. Several hypotheses about the language in which this mysterious book was written have been put forward. Some scientists leaned toward it being written in Hebrew, using an unknown cipher, while others thought its author used their own invented language, and the text carried no real meaning. Additionally, the plants and constellations depicted in it are unknown to science. The manuscript was named after Polish antiquarian Wilfrid Voynich, who acquired it for his private collection in 1912. Today, the book is housed in the Beinecke Rare Book Library at Yale University, waiting for someone to decipher its encrypted text. In 1937, during an expedition led by Dr. Chipu Te in the Bayankara-Ula Mountains, an ancient graveyard was discovered. Near the mummies, scientists found strange discs with a hole in the center. From this hole, deep double grooves were drawn on each disc, within which hieroglyphs were carved. The discs were taken to the laboratory of Peking University, where Professor Nui began studying them. The decryption took about 20 years, and when scientists finally succeeded, they were shocked. The inscriptions on the discs told of a visit to Earth by aliens. About 12,000 years ago, a spacecraft carrying humanoids crashed in the Himalayas. Since they had no means to return home, they decided to stay there. The tribe of aliens was called Dropa. They were short in stature, with large heads, blue eyes, and sparse hair. Of course, no one believed the professor who published this sensational news in a Chinese newspaper. Therefore, Nui decided to move to Japan and become a recluse. Moreover, after this, the Dropa stones disappeared forever from the university laboratory. This story sounds realistic, However, no one has ever heard of this expedition or the scientist named Nui. The only proof of the existence of the disks are photographs taken by Austrian engineer Ernst Wegener. Therefore, the story of the dropa stones continues to be considered only a legend. One of the most mysterious cosmic objects is Oumuamua. It was first spotted on October 19, 2017, by Robert Weirich, and a week later, Oumuamua was again found in observations from other telescopes. This object caused much debate among scientists. Initially, it was identified as a comet, but after detailed study, it was reclassified as an asteroid, or more precisely, a hyperbolic asteroid. However, this classification led to much debate for several reasons. Firstly, Oumuamua had a very elongated shape. Its length was at least 10 times its width, a shape not typical for asteroids. Secondly, Oumuamua had an unusual trajectory of movement. It tumbled through space, with its brightness fluctuating. When scientists began observing this object, it suddenly accelerated. At one point, Oumuamua was 100,000 kilometers farther than scientists had estimated. Astrophysicists still cannot understand what caused this object to accelerate so rapidly, as if it were equipped with rocket engines. All these facts pointed to Oumuamua being a unique cosmic object, possibly even an intergalactic alien spacecraft. However, scientists refrain from commenting on this theory. On August 15, 1977, in Ohio, the radio telescope named Big Ear caught a strange signal, which remains one of the most mysterious to scientists. That day, Dr. Jerry Amon was working with the telescope. Amid the usual noise of spaces and ones, he noticed an unusual dense code. Amon was very surprised by his discovery and circled this code, writing the word "wow" next to it. Hence, the signal got its name. According to scientists, the wow signal originated from a region in the constellation Sagittarius. Naturally, astrophysicists continued their observations of this point, but to this day, this signal has never been repeated. Scientists believe that if it was sent by an extraterrestrial civilization, it must have been very advanced. To send it, a transmitter with a power of about 2.2 gigawatts would have been necessary. For comparison, the most powerful scientific research complex, HARP, located in Alaska, can transmit signals up to 3.6 megawatts. For a long time, the origin of the wow signal was considered a mystery, but thanks to modern research tools, scientists concluded that the source of the pulse was Comet 266P Christensen. In 1999, archaeologists in Tel al-Ubaid discovered 130 astonishing statuettes depicting people with lizard heads. These beings held various ritual objects in their hands. The age of this find is estimated to be 6,000 years. Could it be that even then, people suspected the existence of reptiloids? Initially, scientists believed that the statuettes depicted ancient shamans who wore snake or lizard head masks during rituals. However, local residents refuted these assumptions, as there were no such customs in the history of their ancestors. According to them, the statuettes represented demigods who emerged from the sea. Interestingly, similar figurines were also found in West Africa, Iraq, and even Japan. All of them are united by their age and resemblance to modern depictions of reptiloids. How people in different parts of the world at the same time could believe in demigods with similar appearances remains a mystery. Jocelyn Bell was a talented graduate student of Professor Anthony Hewish at Cambridge University. At the age of 20, she was already working on creating a new radio telescope and was fascinated by the study of quasars. On November 28, 1967, she noticed a strange signal. To study it more closely, Bell reviewed data from the past 3 months and discovered that it originated from some extragalactic object. She then shared this discovery with her mentor, Professor Hewish. The information about the received signal shocked the professor and his colleagues. Their first thought was that the signal was sent by extraterrestrial civilizations. This is why the discovered source of pulses was named LGM-1, or Little Green Men. Of course, neither Bell nor Hewish believed that they were attempting to communicate with an alien intelligence. The professor thought the telescope had simply caught some terrestrial signals, while his graduate student was convinced that the pulses were coming from space. This was indicated by the fact that the start time of the signal shifted by 4 minutes daily. This led the young graduate student to discover a new type of stars, pulsars. Pulsars are very rapidly rotating stars with a colossal magnetic field. Typically, the axis of rotation and the magnetic axis of pulsars do not coincide, so the radiation of such stars resembles pulsation. The pulses of such stars were mistaken for an alien signal, but thanks to the diligence and meticulous work of Jocelyn Bell, they were discovered for further study by astrophysicists. Barisa Kiprianovich is one of the most unusual people on our planet. He was born in 1996 in the Russian city of Zhernovsk. According to Boriska's mother, he began to speak before he was 12 months old, and by the age of 2, he could already read newspapers and draw. His drawings were unlike those of small children, depicting cosmic landscapes and constellations. At that time, Boriska was seriously interested in astronomy, but he was dissatisfied with any scientific literature his mother bought him. He believed that these books did not tell what really happens in space. The boy also often shared stories with his mother about his past life on Mars. According to him, Martians were tall by human standards, with a minimum height of 2 meters. They breathed carbon dioxide and stopped aging after 35 years, but were not immortal. The boy also shared information that about 3 million years ago, Mars was inhabited. The planet was home to dozens of highly developed races. They possessed incredible technologies, including teleportation, which allowed them to travel between galaxies. After the planet's resources began to deplete, a massive nuclear war broke out on Mars. As a result of these events, the atmosphere was destroyed and the planet became uninhabitable. However, as Boriska claims, some Martians managed to survive and now live deep within the Earth. According to the boy, he is one of the hundreds of children sent by Martians to save humanity from self-destruction. Before arriving on Earth, he worked as a pilot of a Martian spaceship and often visited Earth. Certainly, Boriska Kiprianovich's stories sound like fiction. Many people believe that the boy simply read too many science fiction books and had a vivid imagination, but he undoubtedly possessed the abilities of a prodigy. How Boriska's fate has unfolded since then is unknown. Currently, there are about 5,000 active artificial satellites in Earth's orbit. All were launched by humans and used for communication, reconnaissance, research, and navigation. However, among them was a very unusual satellite, named the Black Knight. It is considered to be evidence of the presence of extraterrestrial civilizations. According to NASA astronauts, this satellite has been in Earth's orbit for over 13,000 years. Its origin and purpose remain a mystery. The discovery of the Black Knight began in 1899 when the legendary inventor Nikola Tesla managed to detect strange signals. Later, other scientists also detected similar signals. But it was not until the early 1950s that they began to speak of it as an object in orbit. The most recent proof of the Black Knight's existence is a photo taken by the crew of the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1998. However, after detailed study of the object in the photo, experts agreed that it was nothing more than space debris. The Black Knight remains one of the most mysterious space objects. There are reports online about its recent destruction, though its existence remains unproven. Recently, a user on the internet shared an unusual photograph with their followers. According to the young man living in a remote region of Canada, he discovered a strange object while exploring uninhabited, snow-covered lands with a drone. As seen in the photograph, the object resembles an artificial satellite or some other type of spacecraft after a crash. When the young man saw it in the drone camera's footage, he decided to get closer to take a better look. However, as he reduced the distance, he began to feel weak. Therefore, he decided to quickly return home. This condition might have been a result of intense fear and self-suggestion, so he decided to return to the same place a week later. However, there was no object there anymore. This fact scared him even more, so he decided to share this story on the internet. And that's all from me. If you liked this video, don't forget to rate it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Your activity is the best reward for me. Thank you for your attention. See you soon. Goodbye.